Hello, I'm Rupert Turton and welcome to the Business Spotlight interview where we talk to local business owners about their journey. This week I'm joined by Adam Griffiths from Orbalis, who are a medical service providing personalised GP services, health checks and assessments, both at home and in the office environment. So Adam, welcome.
Thanks very much.
Look, I think the first question needs to be, can you just explain what your business does and also how long you've been in business as well?
Yeah, I think you did it very nicely for us. You kind of summed up really everything that we do. We're essentially a private GP home visiting service. So everything that you would expect your GP to offer, we do that, but in the convenience of your own home, as well as having sort of a proactive arm. So health checks either for an individual, for pre-employment health checks, or for corporate scenarios. So perhaps an organisation wants their team to have a brief health screen, either a more generalised one or very specific things to be covered, and we would then arrange a suitable venue and just sort of see all of their staff in a day and give them a health check, blood tests, physical examination. They all get a report at the end of it as well. So most things that you'd expect in a GP surgery, we offer at home.
And how long has the business been up and running?
It's been running now for about 18 months. So all of us who are involved in it have been working in medicine for at least 14 to 19 years each, in some of us in different spheres, and then coming to general practice a little bit later on. So previous anaesthetists and nurses and things as well. So quite a range of experience.
Yeah. So was it always your ambition to have your own business, or was it the medical side that attracted you more?
I come from a family of entrepreneurs who've always sort of run lots of different businesses. So I've seen lots of kind of ventures work and fail, and that's always been really interesting. And so I've often had that mindset in the background. And for a variety of reasons through COVID, it really sort of triggered a change. And I think in essence, I saw the opportunity to do things differently, and to try and really be able to offer a service where nothing short of excellent is accepted, and to have the flexibility and the ability to deliver that. We all find, every GP you speak to will find the 10-15-minute consultation is frustrating, and being able to have the time that people need to talk about a problem is just so freeing, and then everything else that comes from that as well. So really lots of things combined to bring us to where we are at the moment.
So what has been your biggest learning since you've been a business owner?
I think probably the biggest thing has been sort of the non-medical things that we've had to do. So I'm quite comfortable with all that side of it, but sort of the actual setting up and running and the things you need to do. We're very grateful to have a hugely helpful accountant sort of guide us through all the legal things that we need to do, and that's been probably the biggest learning curve. And how to write a profit and loss, statements and all this, that, and the other. They're the things that have been probably the most challenging.
Yeah, I suppose it's learning a new set of skills as you're trying to run the business at the same time, isn't it? Yeah. So, what are your aspirations for Orbalis in the next 5 years?
So at the moment, we offer the home visiting services, our sort of main GP focus, and within the next 5 years, we are hoping to have a physical clinic that we'll operate out of as well, and where we can see people as a site. We've deliberately, our business plan is very much to grow organically, so that we're not sort of got very high overheads to start off with, and we're sort of having to chase the money, and then perhaps you compromise on quality and everything else. So we've been very deliberate about growing it organically, and as and when we're able to. I'm also undertaking some additional special training, so that hopefully at the end of the year, when the authorities sort of are opening up avenues that we can offer more specialist aviation medicals and things like that. So quite a specialist medical arm coming on board with a couple of GPs who do other specialist medicals wanting to come on board. So I think over the next 5 years, we'll be able to offer a physical clinic as well as home visiting service, and then a specialised medical arm. And as medicine evolves, really truly personalised healthcare is going to come to the fore, with sort of DNA testing and how that impacts on what you can do and what you won't be able to do. And we're very much that's on our radar to try and incorporate as soon as it becomes clinically viable. So interesting.
And actually, you rolled into my next question very nicely there. I was about to ask you what you think are the biggest opportunities in the healthcare sector coming up in the next 5 years. Obviously, quite a challenge sector at the moment, but also I feel so many opportunities, particularly with new technology coming along.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about how that's harnessed, and the if we come up, the NHS is a great thing, and it's certainly a very good thing, and we all still continue to work in it as well, in the out of hours setting. But it is a slow beast to respond, and that's one of the advantages that we feel we have, is that we can be quicker to respond to the opportunities that are developing, and some of the technology that's emerging in America. They can identify cancers, on the basis of a blood test, many years before they clinically present, and there's lots of really exciting data about how that's emerging. And there are some health companies in America, working with the companies that are developing it. It's not over here fully yet. You can see some of the research that's in the bigger hospitals around it. And so I think that as that becomes more embedded into more mainstream practice, I think that'll be the biggest game changer, really.
Yeah, and actually, so that sounds like it's moving very much from reactive to preventative medicine.
Absolutely, yeah. One of the things that I love to talk about is that I can't quote the paper because I don't know which one it is, but there was a study that showed there's two sort of essentially two types of genes, about whether you are somebody who will deposit lots of amyloid in your brain if you don't get very much sleep, or if you won't do. And amyloid is often associated with dementia, and so if you're a person who can get away with less than 4 hours sleep at night, actually if you're a CEO of a really big company, that might be helpful. And if you know that doing that is potentially going to cause you damage, you might try and adjust your lifestyle to account for that. And that's just one tiny part of it. If you can do that for everything else across heart health or diabetes or whatever, it becomes really preventative, which is where I think the exciting things lie, really.
Yeah, and presumably that's where Orbalis want to move to. Is that where you're aiming your market at?
I think that will, So we very much two streams. One is the GP healthcare, so that will always be a little bit reactive because somebody has a problem and we want to be able to help manage that, diagnose it, treat it, and that will always happen. So we've very much got the treatment and the care side of things, and all of us have got lots of experience in palliative care, and we want that to be done really well. So that will grow and expand over the. We've got a 15-year plan for where we go with it. So over the time that will develop. Then alongside that, we think that over the next 15 years, the preventative side will develop as well. And so get people to live really well and live to the best of their ability, but also should they get sick, then we can look after them really well as well. So both strands of what we're looking at.
So I almost asked the wrong question earlier when I said, what are your aspirations for the next 5 years? You've got a plan out to 15 years.
Yeah, so very deliberately set out. Again, because we wanted to grow organically, we didn't want to be trying to hit these markers quickly. We knew that we were going to take a little bit of time, but actually how we get there and where we go, we thought it was important to have a longer term vision. Yeah,
no, I think that's brilliant. If so, other business owners followed your lead as well, that would be a big step forward in the business environment as well. So, what are the biggest challenges running a business in the medical industry at the moment, medical sector?
I think our biggest challenge probably relates to ourselves. We're obviously quite a small company, and we're learning as we go in terms of the business. So our marketing has been quite slow. We've been very much word of mouth, which has been great. Everybody who's used us to date, with the exception of one person, has come back again for a second time, and that could be because one person stayed well. We don't know, but everybody else has come back repeatedly, which is really encouraging. So we know we're doing the right thing, but it's just how we market ourselves. And so we've now taken on the services of a social marketer to help us sort of navigate the social media world. We're in the process of redesigning a few things, sort of, because we've had feedback from external sources about how our website looks and different things like that, which, whilst it's a very good website and we're really pleased with how it was to start off with, the feedback from everybody else is really helpful to help us just develop and evolve it. And so I think the marketing is the biggest thing, and we're a small company in quite a big pond, but we're also very ambitious. We genuinely expect that in 15 years' time our brand logo will be, as recognised as Virgin's or Nike's or whoever. That's one of our aspirations. We are strongly hoping that our ethos around employment is going to be well recognised in 10-15 years time, because for non-clinical roles, as and when we develop our clinic and expand, we want to preferentially be employing people who've perhaps struggled to get employment, whether that's people coming through probation services or prison and gangs and things, because actually we want people to have an opportunity to have a career, and if we can support and develop that, that's really kind of key to our aspirations. And so we're small, but we've got a strong identity, and I think that will help us to grow over time, but it's just the timing of it all, really.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I like about that, is it's very much a community that you're building as well, isn't it? You're trying to be part of the community as opposed to just a standalone business that happens to be based in Market Harborough.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're currently in the innovation centre at Market Harborough, which is perfect for us as a base. We're not allowed to see clients there because of our CQC registration, so we see them in their homes. And one of the things that we've been looking at is that we know we've got to get a clinic probably in the next 6 to 8 months or so. But even the positioning of that, so we saw a really lovely location that was just outside Market Harborough, but we decided it wouldn't be suitable for us, because actually if we want people who are going to be able to be coming from less fortunate backgrounds or less opportunities to get to us, well, actually it's got to be on the main bus route, or it's got to be within walking distance. You can't put it out too remote in the country, because actually that then prohibits people coming in employment. So we're trying to think around a wider picture as well as just what really suits the business. So makes it a bit more challenging, but it's a good challenge to have.
Yeah, but I like the vision that you have, and it all ties into your vision of where you want the business to go, doesn't it? Which is the driving force. So, with your recent experience, what would you say to anyone thinking of going into business for themselves?
I mean, I always think just do it. It's always the journey, isn't it? And like I say, fortunately, we're progressing well and at a nice sustainable rate, which for us is great. I've seen businesses be really successful through my family and through others. I've seen absolute disasters and fail, and so it's not sort of with rose-tinted spectacles that I say to do it. I think it has to be considered and at the right time, but it is really exciting and challenging, but it's good.
So let's just change tack slightly then. If I can ask you a slightly more personal question, who is the first person that comes to mind when you think about success?
Yeah, it's very cliche, but it's Richard Branson. I remember reading his book when I was younger, and again when I was a little bit older, and I loved his spontaneity. I loved the fact that he just would try anything, and it didn't matter if it failed, and he made some mistakes, which we've all done. But I think he also failed quite well. I was one of the things that my parents definitely told me was that you celebrate successes, but also you celebrate failures, because there's always something to learn in something when it goes wrong. And so I think that's probably why his book resonated a little bit with me.
So you're going to try and do the same in your own business?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I think when we get things wrong, we will learn from them and go, that's okay. As long as we don't make the same mistake twice, that's the key thing.
Yes, no, absolutely. So, Adam, it's been lovely talking to you today. How do people contact you at Orbalis if they want to take up your services?
Yeah, so the best way is probably just to go to the website, which is www.orbalis, orbalis.co.uk. You can drop us an email at contact@orbalis.co.uk. And again, as part of our ethos, our office is staffed part-time, because that's the most suitable option for our office manager. We want to make sure that she's at home with her family when she needs to be. So we pick up the phone after 3 o'clock between us, but otherwise it's sort of manned between 9 and 3 on the phone as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, and I'll put the details into the description that goes along with this video as well, so people can just click on it when they get to it.
Thank you.
Adam, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate it. Really interesting talking to you as well. And I do like your vision for the future, and all success in the future.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. It's been great.